oligo-DT primer adapter or oligo-DT primer linker. For first cDNA strand synthesis, oligonucleotides such as oligo-DT primer adapter may also be employed. These primers consist of oligo-DT ephemer at their 5' end with overhanging sequences that will support the addition of restriction enzyme sites or useful sequences on one end. The purpose of such primer adapter is directional cloning of double-stranded cDNA. Hence, such first cDNA strand synthesis done in combination with second strand synthesis with a similar primer adapter having different restriction enzyme site. And the same principle is there for oligo-DT primer linker for directional cloning. The primers used for second cDNA strand synthesis. In order to obtain a molecule that is stable and can be manipulated and cloned into a vector, the mRNA in the single-stranded cDNA mRNA hybrid needs to be replaced with a cDNA strand of the same sequence. This second cDNA strand synthesis is conveniently carried out by E. coli DNA polymerase I or Clino enzyme or reverse transcriptase or T4 DNA polymerase. Thermostable DNA polymerase such as TTH and Taq DNA polymerases can also be used. Self-priming. This strategy takes advantage of the tendency of reverse transcriptase to form a hairpin loop during the first cDNA strand synthesis, which is used as a primer for second cDNA strand synthesis. This hairpin is formed due to spontaneous intermolecular base pairing during reverse transcriptase reaction. And this technique is advantageous because a single primer that is used for the first cDNA strand synthesis is used to synthesize the second cDNA strand as well. And this method leads to higher yield of double-stranded cDNA. For cloning double-stranded cDNA into a suitable vector, hairpin loop is removed in a reaction catalyzed by S1 nuclease. As it is an uncontrolled reaction, there may be frequent loss of cDNA sequences corresponding to the 5' end of mRNA. And in this, you can see the schematic representation of self-priming classical method of double-stranded DNA synthesis. Here, the first strand synthesis by reverse transcriptase, and later the formation of a hybrid between single-stranded cDNA and mRNA, denatured by boiling or hydrolyzing by alkali treatment. And here the self-priming occur due to the tendency of reverse transcriptase to form a hair loop. It is due to intermolecular base pairing during reverse transcriptase reaction. So the single primer that is used for first cDNA strand synthesis is used for the synthesis of the second cDNA strand synthesis as well. And for cloning double-stranded cDNA into a suitable vector, this hairpin loop is removed in a reaction catalyzed by S1 nuclease. RNase H recognizes a single-stranded cDNA mRNA hybrid and makes many nicks or gaps in the RNA strand. Many RNA fragments thus graded along the length of the first cDNA strand provide free 3' groups to be used as primer for extension by polymerase, and it has three main advantages. The first one is that the priming is very efficient and such priming does not need any further treatment or purification strategies, and the third thing is that it eliminates the need to use S1 nuclease and hence is free from disadvantages such as loss of cDNA sequences that result from S1 nuclease treatment. The next method of priming is oligonucleotide priming. In this method, homopolymeric tail is added to the 3' end of the newly synthesized first cDNA strand. This tailing is done by exploiting the activity of terminal deoxynucleotide transferase, that is TDT, a template-independent DNA polymerase from calf thymus in the presence of only single type of DNTP. For example, the addition of oligo-DC tail in the presence of DCTPs. This oligo-DC tail then acts as an annealing site for the chemically synthesized complementary oligonucleotide primer. that is oligo-TG. RT-PCR can be used to provide the cDNA for library construction when the source of mRNA is unsuitable for conventional approaches. In this technique, instead of gene-specific primer, we can use universal primers. Screening and preservation of DNA libraries. Library screening is a process of identification of the clones carrying the gene of interest. Screening relies on a unique property of a clone in a library. The DNA libraries consist of a collection of probably many thousand clones in the form of either plaques or colonies on a plate. Screening of libraries can be done by following approaches based on detecting a particular DNA sequence and gene expression. Methods of screening based on detecting a DNA sequence. The first one is the screening by hybridization. Nucleic acid hybridization is the most commonly used method of library screening, and it was first developed by Grunston and Harkness in 1975 to detect DNA sequences in transformed colonies using radioactive RNA probes. It relies on the fact that a single-stranded DNA molecule used as a probe can hybridize to its complementary sequence and identify the specific sequences. This method is quick and can handle a very large number of clones and is used in the identification of cDNA clones. The commonly used method of hybridization are colony hybridization and plate hybridization. The first method is colony hybridization. It is also known as replica plating and allows the screening of colonies plated at high density using radioactive DNA probes. This method can also be used to screen plasmid or cosmid based libraries. The next method is plate hybridization. It is known as plate lift and was developed by Benton and Davis in 1977 and employs a filter lift method applied to phage plates. This procedure is successfully applied to the isolation of recombinant phage by nucleic acid hybridization and probably is the most widely applied method of library screening. And let's see the methodology of plate hybridization or plate lift. The nitrocellulose filter is applied to the upper surface of agar plates, making a direct contact between plates. Let's see the schematic process for screening libraries by plate hybridization. The nitrocellulose filter is applied to the upper surface of agar plates, making a direct contact between plates and filter. The plates contain phage particle as well as considerable amount of unpacked recombinant DNA which bind to the filter. The DNA is denatured, fixed to the filter, hybridized with radioactive probes and assayed by autoradiography. This method results in a cleaner background and distant signal, and multiple screens can be performed from the same plate as plates can be lifted several times. Screening can be performed at very high density by screening small plates. High density screening has the advantage that a large number of recombinant clones can be screened for the presence of sequences homologous to the probe in a single experiment. The probes that can be used include an oligonucleotide derived from the sequence of a protein product of the gene, or a DNA fragment or oligo from a related gene of another species. And the next method is screening by PCR. PCR screening is employed for the identification of rare DNA sequences in complex mixture of molecular clones by increasing the abundance of a particular sequence. Then the screening methods based on gene expression. The first one is immunological screening. This involves the use of antibodies that specifically recognize antigenic determinants on the polypeptide, and it does not rely upon any particular function of the expressed foreign protein, but it requires an antibody specific to the protein. Let's see the schematic representation of immunological screening. A nitrocellulose disc is placed onto the surface of an agar plate containing the phage library. Both agar plate and disc are marked so as to realign them later. And when the nitrocellulose disc is lifted off again, proteins released from the bacteria by phage lysis bind to the disc, and these proteins bind to specific antibody. Plaques formed by bacteriophage that express a protein bound to the antibody that will be detected by emission of light, And the positive clones can be identified by realignment. Another advancement was the use of blue-white screening. This blue-white screen is a screening technique that allows for the rapid and convenient detection of recombinant bacteria in vector-based molecular cloning experiments. The DNA of interest is ligated into a vector. The vector is then inserted into a competent host cell viable for transformation, and which are then grown in the presence of X-gal. Cells transformed with vectors containing recombinant DNA will produce white colonies, and cells transformed with non-recombinant plasmids, that is only the vector, grow into blue colonies. This method of screening is usually performed using a suitable bacterial strain, but other organisms such as yeast can also be used for this purpose. Beta-galactose is a protein encoded by the LAC-Z gene of lactoferrin, and it exits as a homotetramer in its active state. For screening the clones containing recombinant DNA, a chromogenic substrate known as X-gal is added to the agar plate. If beta-galactose is produced, X-gal is hydrolyzed to form 5-bromo-4-chloro-indoxyl, which spontaneously dimerizes to produce an insoluble blue pigment called 5,5-dibromo-4,4-dichloro-indigo. The colonies formed by non-recombinant cells therefore appear blue in color, while the recombinant ones appear white. The desired recombinant colonies can be easily picked and cultured.